is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR. Good Governance Radio.
The glory of life is character. The mirror of life is conscience. The essence of life is impact. The journey of life is experience. The responsibility of life is your action. And of course, the end of life is your accountability to your maker. What will your report be on that day when you stand to say, I have gone, I am back? Welcome to this morning on GGR Good Governance Radio, where only realities form our bond. My name remains Ebere Chidera, and with me today is
Akimbo Oluwatobiloba David.
And together we shall be navigating this ship of facts, ship of realities. Remember, we are not just flying from nowhere. You can catch us on ggr.com.ng or via our YouTube platform, Good Governance Radio. This morning, a lot to discuss, a lot to analyze. But let's start from the newspapers as we dive into the headlines. With me is this day. Buhari not in support of open grazing. Presidency clarifies. Southern governors insist no land for invaders. ACF maintains position on cattle restriction. Buhari's opposition to Southern governors ill-advised, says Clark. SANS allege ethnic bias. This one is coming from the central bank governor. Still on this day, drop your arms, embrace anchor borrowers program. Emefiele tells bandits. Wow, provision for bandits there. Okay. Air Force raises committee to audit aircraft safety. Still reflecting on the crash that took the chief of army staff. And finally, on this day today, we are having Delta yet to receive 4.2 million pounds recovered, loot, says official. Toby, what do you have for us there?
Well, let me start with that one that you just ended with, because on the Vanguard here, page 12, is saying recovered 4.2 million euros paid to Delta government, says Accountant General. Right here. And at the very top, we have panic in Ebonyi as suicide bomber blows self to pieces. Interesting. Also on open grazing, we have Southern governors and clerk autumn MBF blast Garba Shehu. Just a little subheading here says he lacks authority to make policy statement for the presidency. Yes, that's about all that we have on the Vanguard for today.
Okay, on Blueprint, we no longer tolerate attacks on the headers. NEF ones, that is Northern Headers Forum. Blame governors, selfish politicians for rising crisis. Forum open to citizen-driven national dialogue to end insecurity orders. Condemns attacks on security agents, institutions. Advises Buhari to pay more attention to national concerns. All these you will get on the page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Still on Blueprint, PDP APC bicker over attacks on INEC facilities. That is on page 6 too. CBN moves closer to unifying exchange rates, adds NAFEX. That report is on page 22 of the blueprint. NUJ, NPO to federal government address insecurity, cost of governance, and restructuring. Once Oron Sawyer report implemented. Okay. Again, hoodlums set Imo police station ablaze. That is in page 14. Unity Bank partners briefing on Ekiti Pyramids project, page 23. My late husband dreamt of plane crash a day earlier. An emotional one there from the pilot's widow. You can read the details on page 8 of the blueprint. Wow. Because it's all about humanity, I will start from, not from the headline now. The pilot's wife, the widow now, said he dreamt about
the plane crash.
I don't know whether it was prophetic or a mere dream or a mere trance, but I wish he had the terrestrial powers to, or the celestial powers to avert the crash. And it was as good as saying somebody saw his death and couldn't do anything
about it. In fact, I read a little more about that story yesterday, and the actual truth was he dreamt about it a few days to the crash. But before the flight that crashed, he had gone on 2 other trips that were safe. Now, when his wife was told that he was going to Kaduna, that's this last one that he made, that she felt so worried and was trying his number severally to tell him to try to postpone it or to try to dissuade him from going. But he wasn't picking his phone, or his number wasn't going.
And he wouldn't have, or he couldn't have,
known.
Stop the trip or postpone it, because in the military is about obeying the last order.
Of course,
you were lifting the chief of army staff
and all those very important generals along.
And what else?
If he was chosen for it, he had to do it.
He had to do it. That is, by the way, our sympathy, our condolences. Still with the families of those who lost their loved ones. Now, we shall go on this break, very short one. Don't go anywhere. Remember, you can be part of this conversation. When we return, we shall be linking you with, giving you the details of how you can connect and be part of this discussion, even live. Don't go anywhere. GGR still rolling.
Check your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us. You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us.
Radio, like I told you earlier, you can catch us live, ggr.com.ng, or you watch us via our YouTube, Good Governance Radio, or you can send us a direct text message or WhatsApp conversation right away via 091 3023 6602 091 3023 6602. Let's take you back to the newspaper headlines. We read earlier from the Blueprint newspaper, we will no longer tolerate attacks on headers. Northern Elders Forum warns. It said, blame governors, selfish politicians for rising crisis. Toby, I agree with them on the sub statement there. where they say blame governors
Mm-hmm.
and selfish politicians
Mm-hmm.
on the rising insecurity or rising crisis.
Of course.
And I want to believe that assertion, talking about selfish politicians, is encompassing
It is
from the presidency to the council.
down,
Everybody
down.
Good.
The chain.
So that's what makes that statement, whether they meant it the other way around or not. That's
that
what
makes it valid.
Valid for me,
Mm.
because this is a product of policies,
Mm-hmm.
economic crisis,
Yes.
unemployment.
It's a combination of what they've done and what they've failed to do so far.
Exactly, and what they are doing wrongly.
Mm.
Now, but I want to strike from this angle. He said we can no longer tolerate attacks on the headers.
And the headers.
Who exactly? Apart from the cattle rustlers, and on few occasions we heard about the headers being attacked, maybe because those people were actually trying to rustle the cattle. Who is actually crying foul here? The victim or the victimized? Which one?
That's I think to a very large extent. The first question is the NEF, Northern Elders Forum.
Yes.
I wish I could say this in my native language. Tell them welcome
You are
to the
permitted.
platform.
This is communication.
They say,
Go ahead.
that's what the Yoruba people will say. Igbailaro. So welcome. Now you have a voice.
Good.
Now you can have meetings and you can sign statements that can be written.
Yes.
All that have been happening in the north. And let's be fair and start from the beginning of this year.
Okay.
All the incidents of insecurity, ranging from Boko Haram to kidnapping to all of that happening right under your nose. The NEF is now coming up to say, and the first statement they want to say in the entirety of the discussion of insecurity of the country is that headers, the enough is enough for headers. Which of the headers, please?
And
The gun-wielding headers, the cattle eating other people's crops head. Which of the headers are being killed that they're tired of?
Do you know, I used to think, when are we going to be tired of political sentiments and tribal sentiments? Do you know that this open grazing we are talking about, beyond what is happening in Benue, which is the food basket of the nation, they do a lot in agriculture. I was even expecting these northern elders to support the ban against open grazing. Why? Because their major profession is agriculture.
It is.
The more we have open grazing, putting pressure on our farms, the more we are likely going to suffer food insecurity. So why are we so concerned about the welfare of these cows? You said something yesterday. You asked a question. Who are the owners of these cows?
Who are the owners?
Don't you think that this time around shouldn't we be even leaving the government out of this and engaging the owners,
the people, the individuals
who are running this business?
You know, who employ? But that's the thing. Who is going to walk up to these headers, the ones we see, and ask them, please, who is your Oga? Who is the person that is sponsoring you?
But we have a group we call Meyetiala, and we have always heard their voice vehemently defending their cause. So can't we start from Meyetiala to prove whatever we think we should know?
See, I feel like the southern governors have come together to at least say something, to do something, to start a discussion, right? And I think that the northerners, forums like the NEF, right, and Meyetiala and other groups that are involved, I think it's high time for them to join the discourse, right, but focus on the actual issues, right? If they are saying that it's not these herders who are causing this havoc, then who is weaponizing them? Because at some point, these people kill. At some point, these people carry weapons. At some point, these people go against, everything that we stand for and cause problem in society, right? I can't really put a date on it, but I think sometimes last week, over 100 people were killed from one community to another community. And news has it that it is the armed herdsmen, right? So what do they have to say about that? Let them address the obvious issue, the elephant in the room first. Tell us, who are these people? Who is giving them weapons? Who is giving them the mandate to go and do this? Let them give us those answers. Let them give us a list of people who own these cattle and employ these people's, and have a forum with them and have a discussion with them that, please, so that we know that you, as a private business owner of, cattle and all that, the agri business, right, know that you are not part of the sponsors.
To be holy, let me connect us to the statement credited to the presidency.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday or day before
the
yesterday.
day before yesterday, Monday.
Where he said that the assertion or the ban or the declaration of the Southern governors that it was a questionable legality. That was what the presidency said.
Yes.
Now, today in this day newspaper, we have it here that Buhari not in support of open grazing. Presidency clarifies. Now, the question is, if the president declared the stand of the Southern governors a questionable legality, remember their declaration against open grazing, and now the presidency is saying President Muhammadu Buhari not in support of open grazing. What is the balance on these two statements?
So this is the problem that we have when, and I'm not pushing faults here, when we have a president that has decided to go with the style of not personally coming out to say statements, so that you and I can be discussing President Muhammad Buhari said and not the presidency said, because this now looks like trying to save face.
Yes.
Because you know that as soon as the presidency said what they said on Monday, they began to get a lot of backlash from different forums, from social media, from the governors themselves, and now they're coming out to say, the presidency is, against. I think it's just a means to save face at this point, some kind of clarification on what we already know, that because by the time you check the two statements, you see that the messages were clear.
Exactly.
The messages were very, very clear. So I don't know. I sincerely at this point, I don't know, because there are questions that need to be answered.
Okay.
There are questions that really need to be answered at this point.
Talking about questions that need to be answered. Let's return back.
Okay.
Well, we'll be taking it back and forth to Blueprint now. The sub-statements from the Northern Elders Forum, they say blame governors, selfish politicians for rising crisis. Of course, that is the bedrock of whatever we are suffering from today. Talking about our system of electioneering in this country. I said it, and I have the research to prove this. In 2003,
yes,
even before President Muhammadu Buhari came into power, and in 2007, the kind of arms proliferation we have in this country because of the weapons handed over to thugs.
Yes,
by politicians to facilitate these elections, and there's no record anywhere that those weapons were recovered back. And we keep on having a society where inequality has become the navigator. Like we said, talking about the advice from NUJ and Co, where they said address cost of governance. Now, if by accumulation we have maybe a senator of the Federal Republic going home with approximately 30 million naira monthly, when you put together the allowances, and that of a man in the Green Chamber goes home with something 12.5 or within the circumference of 12.5 and or thereabout, and you have a society where 70% of the citizenry are going beyond the $1 poverty line per day, and you have these representatives and you have this other multitude on the other side. How do you really consistently sustain peace if it's not through good governance? And that's what Good Governance Radio is all about. So I go with you. The questions that need to be answered this morning: how come, irrespective of the killings, how come, irrespective of the mayhem, irrespective of the crisis, the unrest, we're still talking about the interest, the opinion, or we're still defending the character of who should own the cow and make money from the cow, and not the menace is coming. I quoted a constitution here yesterday clearly that Section 41 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999, as amended, yes, gives us the right of movement, freedom of movement. Yes, but we also confirmed here constitutionally that your freedom of movement can also be taken away via the court when you become a threat, when that movement becomes a threat to humanity. Now, they are saying we no longer tolerate the attack on headers? How come we are not hearing their voices concerning what the headers are doing in return? If we don't have a tribal or political bias attached to this issue, how come we are not creating balance upon that? Do you go with my opinion?
I totally do. I totally agree with you. We started this conversation talking about humanity, and there's a portion, or there's humanity in itself that everybody should have, demands that you can look upon as a leader. You can look upon the people who are following and the people who you are serving, right, and have some measure of compassion on them. How do you claim to be representing a group of people in, the Senate or the House of Representatives, and then you see them living in such low level, you see them living in such low states, and you see basic amenities not available to them, and yet you claim to be representing them. You claim to be speaking on their behalf. I think there's a level of humanity that is there. And then now on the other side, see, I think at this point, we all should be careful of what we say and how to say it. Anybody who holds any type of power or any type of position in the country should be careful, because the issue of banning open grazing and the way people are responding to it is clearly beginning to look very tribal.
Wholly there, very tribal. You said President Muhammadu Buhari made a statement in his inauguration speech 2015. That statement caught the attention of even international
of the world.
It was very articulated. He said, "I belong to no one. He said, I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody." I think it's paraphrased now, but we passed the message. Now, anytime we talk about anything that has to do with the Fulani or a profession like this animal husbandry, which is dominantly being practiced by the Northerners.
Yes.
Why do we have people responding as if Nigeria is already divided? Because the Southern governors, we are not just talking because President Muhammadu Buhari, after all, Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State, is an APC man, right?
He is.
Hope Uzodinma is an APC man. David Umahi is an APC man. Most Southwestern governors, they are members of APC. So it's not as if anybody is attacking the candidacy of President Muhammadu Buhari or his personality. They are talking about territorial defense. They are saying your brother lives wherever they are coming from. They come in here and they do not abide
by the laws.
laws.
And live peacefully as possible.
Exactly. And we are saying, no. This is detrimental. This is the way to go. And you are responding, just like what you rightly said, because the presidency speaks, and we seem to be hearing the voice of the spokesman rather than the man himself. So we don't know whether we should quote President Muhammadu Buhari directly or whether we should just blame
the government.
Exactly.
Has said. I was just about to say that maybe that statement that he made during his inauguration is one of the things that, underline, or the effect of that is how he doesn't keep quiet. We can't say the president keeps quiet because the presidency always issues statements, right? Maybe one of the effects of being for everybody and nobody at the same time is that he only releases official statements that cannot be pinned or traced down to his exact words.
But as at that time, our basic understanding or fundamental understanding as far as that statement was concerned, when he came into power, people believed that this time around, he contested several times under his CPC a couple of parties. And this time around, when we had a mega merging of different political parties, so people believed that they were going to douse his integrity. I remember Pastor Tunde Bakari saying, and I quote, he said, "President Muhammadu Buhari I trust, but his environment I doubt." Meaning that the same President Muhammadu Buhari we know as Mr. Integrity, there were possibilities that people around him and the entire new political horizon could make it make it impossible for him to really exhibit 100% of that commitment in terms of integrity. But when he made that statement, the whole world took it to say, okay, whatever you were thinking, I'm not going to be a stooge for anybody. I'm still going to be the man you elected, the man you trusted, the man you exerted your confidence in to take this country to the next level. That was, in my opinion, that was what people understood when he made that statement. But right now, like I said, haven't dwell on that and still going in line with that, the opinion of the Northern Elders Forum saying blame the politicians. Yesterday, again in Imo State, we're taking this discussion further now, still on insecurity. A police station somewhere in Owerri, not really Owerri town, because I know the place is called Oji. Oji is just 2 kilometers or less than that from the Owerri capital. Yes. Now, a police station was set ablaze there. We don't know the number of casualties. What we also do know was that immediately that incident was triggered, some soldiers were seen around the government house axis. Some people shot sporadically. Some people were killed. I remember from the analysis, because it's an environment I used to know, they described a particular woman where we used to go and eat akara. Yes, somewhere at Ojide, they said a stray bullet hit the woman and cut her into pieces. So that's yesterday. The same yesterday, somewhere in Enugu State, called Iwolo in Ezago, to be precise, near Udi, another set of unknown gunmen went there, set the police station ablaze. They didn't just set the station ablaze, they killed 4 police officers. And the same yesterday, a suicide bomber was spotted somewhere in Ebonyi State, Afikpo to be precise, where, according to the eyewitness, they alleged he was making his way to a primary school to detonate. And we saw the video. I actually saw the video on social media, which was also played on TVC News, where the man's intestine, heart, livers, and internal organs were all ripped out. But the contradiction to this report was that towards the night and even right now on the national dailies, we have read from the Ebonyi State government and the police that it wasn't a suicide bomber, that it was actually a police officer who mistakenly detonated a grenade. And I ask you, Toby, for a crisis, for a significant mayhem of this magnitude, do you think we should still be conflicting ourselves and giving contradicting reports concerning what happened? Shouldn't we be precise when the police was on ground, eyewitness was on ground, and the government also said they sent people to confirm there was no suicide bombing?
I'm a young person in this country, and you know that the trend of youths nowadays to follow politics is in question asking. And I will start with the set of questions I have from the government, and to say that a policeman, a Nigerian policeman, carrying enough grenades to tear him open into pieces. That's a question right there. Really? Really? Do Nigerian policemen now
we have not seen any report from the police that they lost their men, or they lost
nothing yet.
So that incident.
Now, that aside, sir, I've always said this and I'm saying it again. There is beginning to be a trend. And everybody is busy. If you are not talking about deaths today, I'm talking about the France Forum tomorrow, I'm talking about headsmen, I'm talking about IPOB. There is a trend, and nobody is knowing where it's coming from. Police stations all around the country are being burnt down. Sir, when a house is boggled, right? When an accident happens, when there is a fire, when people are insecure, where are they supposed to run to? The police station. To get what? Safety. Arms that they will use, people who are trained in intelligence gathering and investigations and knowing when things are happening. Where are they? The police station, right? Where we go and give results. The police station. Now, somehow, all of a sudden, the police stations have become ordinary buildings that anybody can go into
As a matter
and
of
set
fact,
ablaze.
in a place like Imo State, if you have any reason to arrest anybody, arrest a situation, if you get to any police station, they will ask you to go and bring the person. They did it to a friend. Yes, on Saturday, some court boys in Avan Ikoku College of Education robbed a nearby facility, private hostel, and those ladies ran to the nearest police station to report, and they were asked to go and bring the court boys. Imagine when a court boy, a courtist
Who robbed
you,
took your
phone,
things. Either maybe by force, probably at gunpoint, or had some sharp,
and
things.
they are now asking you to go and bring the person.
So
Imagine.
There is a serious issue, and I don't want to be a naysayer or a prophet of doom, but there is a serious issue at hand. Police stations, army formations are being disrupted. Police stations are being burnt. INEC offices, up to more than 20-something of them, constantly. There is a pattern, sir, and we need to know who is in charge. The other thing I was going to say about this issue is this: I think it's high time either the what they call them now, the police or the army, or whosoever is in charge of intelligence in the country in terms of force, right, should come and specify and clearly define the different set of people. Headsmen who are armed. We have to know the difference between headsmen who are armed and maybe bandits and kidnappers and the Boko Haram people, because this generalizing of unknown gunmen.
Because we have been living in denial. When bandits started operating in the capacity of Boko Haram, we refused to tag them terrorists. So we baptized them and gave them the name bandits. Good. Now we have seen, just like 2 days ago, did you see what happened along Suleja Kaduna axis? In fact, I saw the video yesterday and I went for this country. Apart from the people who were kidnapped by the bandits, do you know that I saw them setting 2 ladies ablaze? Hey, my country. You know, it's been proven that there are 2 greatest pains in life. Somebody being burnt alive, yes, and the labor pain which our women go through. Now, somebody was being burnt alive yesterday. 2 people, actually, 2 ladies, because they accused them of being one chance. Now, syndicates. Coming to the question you asked, we still have herdsmen who are moving about with AK-47.
Yes,
we also have seen our president issuing an order to shoot anybody or outside.
What's happening to the order?
Now, we don't. You are not a police officer. I'm not a
police.
We have not met them on duty.
The police officers, their offices are being burned. Maybe they are running away. They are hiding. Only God knows what's happening.
If Namia Gorono, I won't lie to you.
No, it's serious.
I'm bringing something to what you said, actually.
Yes, sir.
We have only 400,000 police officers, approximately, policing 200 million people. Now that we are killing them and burning their facilities, yet we have been complaining of herdsmen, complaining of bandits, complaining of Boko Haram, complaining of unknown gunmen. What will be our fate after we have taken them out and we think we are attacking the government of Muhammadu Buhari? Now, ourselves, they do. Don't go anywhere. Your opinion counts. Remember, you can be part of this conversation. Hold your phone, hold your pad, go online. When we come back, you can link us. We want to read your opinion, and of course, it will count. GGR, still rolling. Don't go anywhere.
Check your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us. You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us.
Welcome back, Good Governance Radio. Remember, you can be part of this conversation. 091-3023-6602. 091-3023-6602. You can send a direct text message or you give us a WhatsApp message via this number. You can listen to us live and direct, ggr.com.ng. or you can see our faces, watch us and be part of this via our YouTube channel, Good Governance Radio. Welcome back. We're still navigating through the nations, especially as projected by today's papers. We have moved from insecurity a bit now. Toby,
Yes, sir.
somebody said the 4.2 million naira recovered Iburi loot has been paid back to them, and another said we have not seen the money. But before we talk about the money and who should receive the money, you see, I don't know why. I am of the opinion that we can blame the politicians, we can blame the presidency, we can blame the governor, but are we really ready to be governed? I'm saying this because the day James Ibori, the former governor of Delta State, who looted Delta dry, the day he came back to Delta, let me tell you the truth, we have it in videos, even till now. The kind of crowd, there's no need analyzing the number of people that came on board.
The welcome party.
The state was shut down.
Ah,
The people whose money was stolen felt he was being witch hunted. He made a very prolific statement and gave a very emotional address. The traditional rulers were on ground, political stakeholders were everywhere, cultural dance groups were glittering.
It was a
the
festival.
whole environment was electrifying.
It was a festival.
It was an understatement to say it was a festival. It was like where the Messiah who left a town came back. And I asked one of them, they say, hey, when the guy was a governor, he used to give. I say, how? He used to give. He used to settle talks. That brings me, do you think I'm talking about the electorate now. The way we celebrate corrupt politicians, the way we defend, there's what you call erroneous conscience in psychology. Erroneous conscience is when something concerns you or when something benefits you, it becomes right, even if it is wrong. In other words, if you need money, if you need 10,000 naira, and I go somewhere and steal 10,000 naira and give to you to solve your problem, I'm no longer a thief because you benefited from my stealing. So
just that end justifying the means.
Exactly. Do you think there is future in governance, the way we defend people who we should be attacking?
To be sincere, I think Nigeria has a few more years, maybe a decade or two, right, to pin down and get the idea of patriotism in everybody. Sir, the reason why, as we are now, we can't stand if the right government comes in place. The reason why we can't stand it is because nobody really feels like Nigeria is their own, right? There is no that strong sense. Let me give you a good example. 4th of July in the United States, right, is such a heavy thing. It's such a big thing, such a big deal. Everybody from primary to everybody puts their red and blue and white
flag
in front of, they paint almost like Christmas. But June 12th, or what day has it been moved to now in Nigeria, the green, white, greens are, Christmas is a bigger celebration in Nigeria than any so other. I'm saying this to say that everybody sees Nigeria almost, there's this idea of business mentality, like what you just described. The person, you will hear people say, now oga where they pay, now him with they salute, or now him with they follow. Whether that oga they steal ammo, we don't know. Whether that oga they cheat another person, they collect them, we don't know. Whether that oga they cheat us, they collect them, we don't know.
We don't know. Provided he's giving us more money. A little bit of insight here. I belong to the community of actors and stuff. Something happened recently where somebody was given a contract to take some actors and do some things, and they were so excited because they were going to be paid 200,000. All right, that's big money for these upcoming people, young people who were going to. But when they were done, and one or two things and documents about the deal slipped, sir, they were each supposed to be paid 1 million naira. each.
Now, there was no way those who find out could expose that to the rest of them because they already felt that this is the best deal of their lives. That is the kind of syndrome that we Nigerians are going through.
This is not about presidents alone.
It's not
this is
just
not about governors. This is not about commissioners or ministers.
The way it has
order.
conditioned our mind is going to take a whole lot. It's going to take a whole lot.
Why do we complain as if we are angels?
Because it's natural now. It's human to complain. Sir, let me say, well, I can't really use the measure of police brutality, but remember the subsidy strike some years back
under Jonathan.
Yes. Remember how heavy around January, I think,
Occupy
at the beginning of the year.
Occupy Nigeria.
Remember how heavy
yes.
that campaign was.
Yes.
One would think that Nigeria is about to change, but we are still in the same place. Forgive me to use our recent EndSARS and how strong for that, maybe a week or so, and we are still here.
But it was understandable that allegedly, we're not sure, that some government officials sponsored some talks against the peaceful protesters.
So what I'm saying here is that Nigerians, the will to push for the right type of government, the sacrifice that it would take, that we the electorate, like we Nigerians, the sacrifice it would take for us to get the type of government that we deserve. Are we really ready for it? Are we truly ready for what comes if everybody stands their grounds and say that, you know what, stop this issue of blaming and making laws. Go and fix the refineries. Go and fix the agricultural system. Go and fix. We don't want your bribe. Are we really ready for that? That's the question.
Toby.
Yes.
Anytime we ask that question, people will remind us about the level of deprivation, and that is the format they are using. Because when you deny someone access to basic things of life, they will become dependent on you. Now, if you are telling somebody, no, don't collect 5,000 naira, go and vote your conscience, they will tell you this 5,000 naira now our money, make I collect and chop first. Because when he becomes the governor, that I won't see him again. Don't go anywhere. Still GGR, making the facts clear.
Chapter systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
Saying happy birthday to somebody, and somebody here.
Good Governance Radio.
GGR, welcome back. Remember, you can be part of this conversation, ggr.com.ng, or you send us a direct message 09130236602, or you watch us live on our YouTube page, Good Governance Radio. My brother and my friend here, Toby Lola, asked a very, very pertinent question. I'm taking you back to insecurity now. This is a family meeting, so we don't have a particular precision. So let's go together. It's all about Nigeria. There's nothing we are discussing here that you do not know. The most important thing is for us to provide solution, not just criticism. Toby asked, how do we know the herdsmen, the bandits, the unknown gunmen? Who are these people? Now,
who are the unknown gunmen?
Governor Dave Umahi just banned public gatherings in Ebonyi State and the procession. But I want us to round off this discussion on this angle. Toby, this attack especially that started from Imo State, attack on police stations, correctional centers, I think it started from either February or March. February, I'm sure. Because I remember I was somewhere along that axis the day we were supposed to cover an event somewhere at Olo. We couldn't go because of the fracas between the police and the unknown gunmen. Then, from that time till now, my point is this. We're still calling these people the unknown gunmen. Haven't we done anything intelligent-wise? Is 3 months or 2 months not enough for us to spot and say, these are the people? So that you know who you are fighting. The equipment you are using to fight a pickpocket definitely should be different from the equipment you are using to fight an armed robber that breaks in. Am I right? Or a bandit or a terrorist. Who are these men and why are we finding it very, very difficult after 90 days or after 60 something or 70 something days? We cannot really say these are the people we are dealing with. Now, if you ban public gathering and the procession, what have you done in particular to protect the police stations? But let me come back to the question. Why do we find it difficult to be very, very specific when it comes to intelligence analysis?
I think to a very large extent, those who are meant to make this type of information known, right, are either just neglecting or are very ignorant of what media does. Sir, if during this state of crisis that the country is, right, we are hearing from authorities and from the security agencies and from the government, and we are getting, okay, these are the people, this is how far we've gone, we know they did this, we are doing like this, we are trying to get them here, we are trying to, just something to keep us, busy, something to give us safety that, oh, okay, the guys that burnt down this station have been found, right? And we've been able to take them in for questioning, and we know where those kind of things will help, right? But we don't have any of those. We just have news coming in from different places, just saying these people, that people, unknown gunmen, and it's becoming very scary. Becoming very scary. Who are this group of unknown gunmen who have enough firepower to fight and burn down and kill police and our force people in every state that they've been going to successfully?
For reference purposes, we know that in the southeast, especially what happened in Iwolo yesterday, that is in Enugu,
yes,
they carted away the firearms of the police. Some time ago, I think in Anambra or Ebonyi, let me not mislead people here, but I think it should be Anambra. After attacking the INEC office, the police recovered their own ammunition, which means they stole those ones from other police stations. So
and came to
when
use.
they repelled them somewhere at Oka, they were able to recover what they had already stolen from the police. Now, the question is, I just want to answer that question, that they don't just have these firearms. They are taking what our law enforcement agents are supposed to use to protect us. And the moment they succeed in doing that completely, we become helpless and vulnerable.
The issue of the governor banning public gathering, I beg to differ, because I have this perspective that you can't stop people from gathering. Sir, if they don't gather at their place of work, if they don't gather in schools, if they don't gather in churches, they will gather in their estates where they live. They will gather in the homes, in the villages where they go to. They will gather in, I don't know, hotels where they where they lodge. Right? If they will gather where they go to eat in the morning. People are always gathered. Right? So if they don't find, if those who are capable enough of attempting bombing stations and burning down police departments and things like that, if they don't find them in the schools or in the work or in the banks or anywhere, they will find them at home where they sleep at night, where they are helpless, and the police stations nearby, all of them have been what? Burned down.
Burn down.
Sir, there is a pattern. There is a deliberate pattern on disarming the first people, disarming the people that we have to run to our 911s, if I can say that. And we have to do something about it. Sir, quick question. Where is the, how do I put it, the DSS, those who have intelligence and can find out things? Where are they? What are they doing? What's going on?
Exactly why people are worried. Because I remember there was a time the Ministry of Information and Culture came up with this law that the federal government would start clamping down on those disseminating fake news. And DSS backed them up immediately. Now, these things, in as much as I know that false information can set a nation on
very
fire,
harmful.
but
very
you
harmful.
said something. Why are we not dealing with the elephant in the house?
In the house.
You are seeing practical issues. You are not attacking it. You are not helping up. You are not backing up. And you are here pursuing abstract issues. And I think, don't quote me for this, but I think there is a clear supremacy conflict when it comes to law enforcement agents in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. Talking about the same DSS. One of the highest bombers, the worst bombing we experienced here in Nigeria, that should be in 2014, either 2013 or 2014, 2014 in Nyanya, where the mega bus station was burnt down. The beast that coordinated that attack, his name is Oguche, one terrorist from Benue State. Now, that guy committed that, ran away from this country, and he was they extradited him back here. It took the federal government a lot of effort to bring him back. But do you know, it was very painful that when his prosecution started, the DSS and the police were quarreling, they were bickering whose responsibility it was to be in court. That was how first, second sitting, subsequently, nobody was coming. Today, nobody heard about the case, whether Oguche was prosecuted. It was, I just responded to your question because maybe, who knows, whether they are there, now police is supposed to do them, now is supposed to do them. We don't want to know who is supposed to do this. Do it.
Now, all of this is not to say that, everybody is folding their arms. It's not to say that everybody in government is just waiting and looking as everything is going down. No, there might be one or two efforts that they're putting in, but we are saying that for the amount of insecurity, for the kind of issue that we are facing, the response that we are getting from the government is not commensurate. It's not And I feel it's not enough. It's not safe enough. Do you know that one of INEC's response to the burning of INEC's office was to go ahead and tender a bill of 800 million to buy equipment to fortify the headquarters in Abuja?
That is an error, because in as much as we can't predict what will happen next, whether the headquarters in Abuja will be a target. What have you done in particular to secure
the remaining centers,
the remaining centers
and the workers that are there?
Or have you, just like you said, have we intelligently found out exactly why this is happening? Who was the interest, like you call it, pattern? What's the reason for this pattern? Have we been able to ascertain that? Because it will enable us to fight the good fight, right? Then
it will.
Coming back to what we are talking about, who should fight, who should take responsibility. Yes, they are responding, but there's difference between movement and advancement. It's not every movement that
is an advancement.
Yes. You understand?
I do.
And I am saying it, I've said it before, I'm saying it again. The basic step we should take now is to be diligent with intelligence gathering. I told you something here on this program. If up till now, the kidnappers are still making calls with registered SIM cards, something is wrong. If up till now, criminals in Abuja and other parts of the country, one chance syndicates, are still moving about the town with POS, we know our basic understanding about banking is that every POS machine is attached to an existing bank account. So it's not registered. It's not easy for you to have, it's not possible for you to have a POS that is not attached to a functional bank account. And that POS has a SIM card registered that gives it a telco signal. Then somebody would rob people of their hard-earned money, throw them out of a moving vehicle, smash their heads in so many cases, go scot-free, and the bank will tell you we can't trace. This thing is not just about everybody expecting President Muhammad Buhari to do this or that. What are the institutions doing? The essence of having institutions is enough for the presidency to coordinate. Is enough for the presidency to think and to supervise. Why are we leaving everything? Why have we come to a point, just like what you said, where responsibility or taking responsibility is now history? Has it anything to do with tribalism? Is it that it is because it's not my brother? What are the banks doing? I have seen people lose money, and banks will tell you, of course, how can they do something when they will deliberately wake up in the morning, deduct your own money, and they can never refund it, and there are no explanations to that. Anyways, we expected, and some of you have made your contributions, but we can keep this conversation ongoing on this our platform, 091-3023-6602. We can take down your message. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, keep doing that. Good Governance Radio. And if you can get us online right away, ggr.com.ng. Remember, our style is different. Our content is rich, based on truth, based on fact. They are not based on criticism, but on mechanisms that will move this country forward. Life is of no essence if there is no impact. This is where we stop for now. We shall definitely return. It has been with me, Oluwatobi Lola, and I haven't changed my name. Still, Ebere Chidera, saying today is another wonderful day for you to make impact.
Your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.